going back to that first one I was talking about, trust. People, when they're shopping online, whether they know it kind of in their own minds or whether it's just a subconscious thing, online shopping does not have the same level of trust that you have when you walk into a physical shop on the high street. It might be that people think that you're going to defraud them somehow. They're going to take your credit card details away. Another difficult thing is for getting refunds. I know it's, you buy something in a shop, it's much, in people's minds, much easier to take a product back and get a refund in the store, as well as the fact that, an e-commerce retailer, to be honest, I could set an e-commerce site up in my own home, run it from my own bedroom, and it could look pretty good on the web, but everything behind the scenes is a bit kind of dodgy, and who's to say I'm not going to shut up shop, close my website down, take your money away and not send the products out. There's this big kind of barrier that people have in their minds that you have to try and overcome, particularly if you're not a well-known brand. If you're John Lewis or Marks and Spencer's or whatever, you haven't really got that problem. So that's that. Some ways that you can kind of counteract that issue. Probably the biggest one, and people quite often object to this, initially at least, is about offering guarantees. We always say to people, you should offer the most compelling, rock-solid guarantees on your website, 100% no quibble, money-back guarantees. So if people get what they want through the post and they want to send it back to you, you should, without question, give them a refund. For one thing, you have to kind of do that by law because of the distance selling regulations. So actually, that is not, you're not actually doing anything extra than what you're obliged to do by law with that. But the other thing is with guarantees, very, very few people actually take people up on a guarantee. It's just kind of one of those things that inspires confidence at the checkout, even in a shop. If you know there's a chance you can get your money back, there aren't very many people out there who actually bother to take a product back unless it's faulty and demand their money back. So making sure that you make a big deal about no quibble money back returns on an e-commerce website is an essential thing to do. Don't ever worry that you're going to end up besieged by floods of returns, because generally that doesn't tend to happen, and the benefit of doing it massively outweighs the disadvantages. Security, that's another obvious reason. Goes back to that whole thing about people thinking that your card details aren't safe. It's just one thing of just making sure at your checkout that you've got the green padlock symbols, that your whole kind of checkout process is secure with SSL encryption, which is the kind of thing that gives people those security messages in their web browsers so they know that you've got a trustworthy site. Another big one that people quite often don't make a big enough deal about is if you've got physical premises, even if it's a warehouse, even if you are operating from home and you happen to have, you're working from your garage or something like that, make a big deal of it. Show people that you have got a real-life physical premises, photos of your shop, photos of your warehouse, particularly photos of your staff as well. People with e-commerce sites quite often make the mistake of sort of trying to hide behind the website, but it's still very much the case that people are more inclined to want to buy from other people rather than just from a faceless computer screen. So you really, whenever you can, get photographs of yourselves on there, of your team, just to give people that element of trust that you're a real-life company and there are people there who really exist. Another good one's company history. The About Us page on a website is, more often than not, we see on e-commerce websites, About Us is sort of the second or third most visited page of any website. So it's showing that people want to know about who's behind the website and make a big deal of it. Make sure, especially if you're a well-established business, get your company history on there. People are going to research this sort of thing before they click the buy button. So that's important. Another little tip as well, whether people know it or not, subconsciously, an 0845 number it's kind of a way of hiding your true geographical location. People are much more comfortable when they see an 02380 or actually a physical geographic number. So that's one thing that can help. Just try and show on your website, prove to customers if they want to turn up, if their whole experience is so disastrous, that they know that they can physically drive to your premises and get their money back or speak to a human being. You're not based in Nigeria, or you're not kind of, one of these kind of sites that do exist that are just out there to rip people off. So that's kind of ways to try and inspire trust in people, which is really the first hurdle that you have to overcome with an e-commerce site.